Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Been quite busy recently. Um, but yeah, first video back had to be on a really not just disappointing, but frustrating evening. I mean, City were there for the taking. They were there for the taking, and just a more intelligent team realizes that and pushes to score the second and third goal. Obviously, we'll talk about the whole game. So in goal, we had Sanchez. Hopefully, this is the last game for Chelsea. On the right, we had Reece James. Great to see him back again. As our centre backs, Colwell, who I was shocked to see. I thought he was injured. Didn't look fully fit in the game. Alongside him, Chalobah. And then we had Cucurella on the left, usually. Midfield of Caicedo. And Enzo again, who I was shocked to see. Because Enzo, another player who I kind of thought was injured. Again, didn't look fully fit. On the right, Madueke. On the left, Sancho. And then Palmer just behind Jackson up top. So we go into the first half and we had the perfect start. Absolutely perfect start. A calamity that back from their young player, where he misses his header and then he tries to head the ball back to Edison, ends up hitting his shoulder, and all of a sudden Jackson, great anticipation, gets control of the ball, passes it first time to Noni. Noni, open goal, 1-0 up. Perfect. Absolutely exactly what we want to see. I mean, I'm so used to us making defensive errors, so it's actually quite nice to see an opposition team do exactly that same thing. And then after that, next 5-10 minutes, we looked really good. We looked we had high intensity, we had direction, we had directness. We were causing them so many problems. They would have the ball, and as soon as we turn them over, all of a sudden we would be right in front of their goal and create something. And we looked amazing for the next 20 minutes or so. That young player then who made the mistake was all over the shop. He then tripped, took Palmer out and got a yellow card. So he's already on a booking, clearly very nervous. I think he's like 20 years old. First Premier League game, made a mistake leading to a goal and is on a yellow card. You target him at that point. You aim your attacks at that one player because you can see that all his confidence is gone. You have to. We didn't take advantage of that enough. And I mean, I'd say we didn't create enough as well, because City weren't that good for the first 25, 30 minutes. They were pretty poor, and we didn't capitalise enough. We had one more opportunity, which was basically Palmer was through on goal, and then he just passes to Jackson. It just wasn't. It wasn't a good pass from Palmer, especially with how bad Jackson has been. You need him to have the easiest finish possible. I think Palmer overhits the ball a bit. Jackson then tries to take a touch because he's not comfortable with hitting it first time, and which you kind of have to expect. And then we just took too long with it. They clear the ball, they got up the other end, and I think that's when Foden hit the post. But from minute 30 onwards, from minute 30 till half time, it felt that we became so passive. This is the problem with Chelsea over the last month. Whenever we scored, we then... It's not that we go defensive, because we don't, but that intensity that helped us get that goal isn't there anymore. So we have the ball, and the urgency isn't really there. It's that the players believe that we're 1-0 up, we've already won the game. We don't need to sort of push to get a second goal. And with City, they kept beginning to just get themselves back into it, and they started creating new ways, because we had a very high line with this match. We had a really high line, I think, and we started to really, like, they started to find balls in front behind. Marmoush, the new signing from Frankfurt, was causing Reece and Noni a few issues because he'd coming from behind, he'd move around a lot, and he'd also try and get in behind. Then obviously they score a goal. It's from a free kick, which they so yeah, they score a goal from a free kick. Eventually, kind of someone has a shot, and Sanchez. I mean, there is no words for how bad he is at the moment. Actually, how bad he's been for Chelsea his entire time here. He's just so bad in goal. He's got a mistake in him every single match. I think he's now leading in the statistic, which is errors leading to a goal. You can't, a club the size of Chelsea, who are pushing to try and get top four and win titles, cannot have a goalkeeper who is that bad in goal. You can't. You have to have an elite goals. You have to have an elite goal scorer and an elite goalkeeper. We have neither at this club. He makes a really big mess of his save and actually pushes it into the kind of middle of the pitch. Sorry, middle of the box. Marmoush is there to score the goal. Fortunately, it's just offside. If Bernardo Silva had been on who scored that, it would have been onside, and then it would have been calamity from Sanchez. Obviously, he makes a calamity later on, but we got away with that. We really, really got away with that. And City were beginning to, for the last 15 minutes of the first half, they looked better. They looked better than us by quite some way. They were creating more. They would just be more dangerous. And then it's just a ball over the top. Their goal was just a ball over the top. Ball over the top. Noni is playing them on. Noni's playing the City player onside, and then Sanchez comes out. It's a shot. It's saved from Sanchez, and then Vardiol is just right there. He's right there, easy. He scores a goal. Madueke, who not only played the City player onside, but then didn't track Vardiol. I mean, it's just really poor. Their goal, it was such an avoidable goal. If Madueke stayed in line with the defence, they're offside. They don't score that. Or if he tracked Vardiol's run, then he doesn't score. So we go in at half time 1-0. Sorry, 1-0, and you can't help but feel it is a real missed opportunity because City were pretty average for the majority of that half up until obviously the 35th minute. Up until then, they were pretty average, but we went 1-0 up and we just went passive and we let them back into this match. And instead of being 2 or 3-0 up ourselves, it's 1-0. And in all honesty, when it was 1-0 at half time, it was so obvious what was going to happen. It was so obvious. Like you could see it coming from a mile away. You knew we weren't going to win. This team, once again, you just knew we weren't. The amount of matches recently that we've been 1-0 up. We've been 1-0 up from, and we've just not won, which was, it's the Fulham game, we were 1-0 up, and we lost it. It was the Palace game, we were 1-0 up. The Bournemouth game, we were 1-0 up. I mean, our form recently has been, our last 5 matches, we've lost 2, drawn 2, 1-1. But yeah, so we go into the second half, and, I mean, the game was drifting, really. The game... The first 20 minutes of the second half, not really anything happened. Jackson came off for Nkunku. Nkunku, I forgot he was even playing by the end of the match. He was non-existent. Not really anything had happened, bar City have worked out that City had done this a couple of times. Ederson had booted the ball down to Haaland. Haaland's controlled it. He's outmuscled our defenders. We've gotten away with it a couple of times. But for their second goal, which we'll talk about now, Ederson boots the ball up, and I think it was Chalobah who Haaland outmuscles. However, you have Colwill, who Chalobah does well to kind of get himself back into a good position. You have Colwill coming back. There's not really any sort of worry. Sanchez when Ederson boosted the ball down the pitch, Sanchez had decided to kind of run to the edge of the box. But because he didn't get the ball, he was in no man's land. So Ederson boots the ball down. Chalobah is outmuscled, but he kind of holds Haaland off. Sanchez is now completely out of his goal. He's on the edge of the box, completely in no man's land. And Haaland just has a shot. It's a good goal. But it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And unlike in the first half where we weren't punished for a shocker from Sanchez, we get completely punished here. Obviously, Chalobah was outmuscled, but he was still able to kind of hold Haaland off. You had Cole coming back. If Sanchez stays in his box, if he stayed where in his goal he should have stayed, Haaland might shoot, but it's an easy save. it's a calamity. It's an absolute calamity. And we looked awful in that second half. City deserved to be winning because they were actually trying to go for it. Even when we went 2-1 down, as yeah, with Sanchez, we need an elite goal. We need an elite goal scorer, but we need an elite goalkeeper. I don't know why I don't know why Maresca hates the idea of playing Jorgensen, but I mean, Sanchez can't be the number one for the rest of the season because we're now 6th place. We're more than likely not getting top 4, and we were 10 points clear of like 5th a month ago. But yeah, so for the third goal, it was just exactly the same thing. It was a ball booted down to the pitch, and again, Haaland outmuscles like it was at Chalobah again. Great ball. Yeah, Foden's through on goal, and it's a good finish. It's 3-1, and it's just an embarrassing evening. So yeah, where are we? We are currently 6th, but our goal difference is basically. I think our goal difference is basically 1 better than Bournemouth. So we're joint 7th. And we're joint 6th, but like 7th place is just off us because by 1 goal, because obviously they won 5-0 earlier on today. Our next few games are West Ham at home. Then we also have Brighton away, Villa away, Southampton at home, Leicester at home, and then Arsenal. In theory, those should be easy fixtures, some of them, but it's not. There's a real chance we don't even get. There's a real chance we end the season around 8th, because the 2 most important positions for us are goalkeeper and striker. We have like 6 days left of this window. We need a better goalkeeper and we need a better striker, because at the moment both those 2 players, Jackson and Sanchez, are consistently costing this team. And in this barren period which we've had over the last month, it's either been Sanchez making a mistake or Jackson not finishing an easy chance, which has stopped us from being 3rd in the league. But yeah, like it's astounding. I was going back through Chelsea teams over the last 10 years. Bar Mendy in that one season, Chelsea haven't had an elite goalkeeper since Courtois. So nearly 10 years ago. It's been nearly 10 years since we had an elite goalkeeper. And striker, we haven't had an elite striker since Diego Costa. It's been nearly 10 years. But yeah, so it's really not positive at the moment for the bridge. It's not positive for Chelsea. It's just a really, really, really bad run of form, which is crazy because we look so good up until that draw against Everton, and then all of a sudden everything's just unravelled. We can't score goals anymore, and we can't keep clean sheets to save our lives. So our next game is at home against West Ham. We have to win. The next 5 games we have to win at least 4 to really keep ourselves in that sort of top 4 contention. But yeah, there's not really much else to add other than just an embarrassing night against. Like I said, it was a pretty average City team. There was nothing which they did that was spectacular. They were clearly nervous, and we just didn't capitalise. And this is the problem with this team. So many matches, we just haven't capitalised on the opposition not being that good. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the 3rd of February when we've hopefully gotten a win against West Ham.